Hello there, good afternoon, you're welcome. Actually, good morning. You're welcome to Newsroom here on GHOne Television. I am Serwaa here. Let's begin with our top stories. Coming up in the next hour, residents flee as insecurity grows in Northeast and Upper East regions, with Interior Minister troubled over police officers' demand for transfers amidst attack. We will go live to the area for an update. Also coming up, GES bans Sectec in Joasco and in Sutec in the Eastern region for 2 years over superzonal sports violence. In other news, scholarship selling allegation, former NAIP boss granted 500,000 cedis bail. Later in business, concerned cocoa farmers demand payment of outstanding monies owed them by government ahead of the finance minister's briefing on the cocoa sector crisis. And later on the international front, powerful at least 31 in Madagascar as it tears through the country's port. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Just stay. You're welcome once again to Newsroom on GHOne TV. I am Serwaa here. The news is streaming live on X, on Facebook and on YouTube. This morning, the Minister for Interior, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, has disclosed that several police officers deployed to the troubled Bawku enclave in the Upper East region have threatened to resign if their requests for transfers are not granted, citing escalating security risks on the ground. Speaking on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, Mr. Muntaka told the House that the persistent insecurity in the area has made duty posts extremely dangerous for officers, particularly those manning checkpoints. Now, over the past 3 months, several personnel have been shot and killed amid ongoing arrests and unrest and violent attacks, he revealed.
Mr. Speaker, I must admit that the challenges in that area is enormous. All of us are aware of the incidents for the past 1.5 years, the challenge that we've been having in Bawku and its environs. And Mr. Speaker, we do not have any extra police officers where you say that when something is happening, you just pull them like some countries will do. They call people that they call reserve. So it's the same police officers that we have. And at a point in time, we were all worried because we had to draw officers, even from northern region, to go and support that enclave. Mr. Speaker, when we had the opportunity to get these 50 armored vehicles, Mr. Speaker, majority of the armored cars are there. But, Mr. Speaker, the worrying thing is when the citizens are not willing to cooperate with the police to ensure peace in their area. For example, between 25th of December and today, the number of officers that have been shot and killed in that area is alarming. Just the day before yesterday, an officer was shot and killed. And it makes it very difficult when you want to send officers there. People even go and beg that they have to be transferred. I have instances where you sit in the office and officers resign that if you don't transfer me out of that area, then I'd rather resign and leave the service. Why? Because the citizens themselves are not helpful.
Tension is mounting in the Northeast and Upper East regions after a series of attacks on police officers, leaving many residents living in fear. Several police officers have been killed in the region, sparking panic among the locals. The recent violence has led to a sense of insecurity, with many residents worried about their safety. Some are even fleeing their homes as a precautionary measure. The police presence has been reduced in some areas, exacerbating the situation. The government has been urged to take urgent action to address the situation and ensure the safety of citizens. The developments come amid efforts by the Interior Minister to restore police presence on highways. Let's have a conversation and an update on this. Our Upper East Regional Correspondent, Kasim Idrisu, has joined me for more on this as the Interior Minister decries the situation and how officers are demanding to be moved from the area, threatening resignations. Thank you so much for joining us. Kasim, how bad is the situation? How bad is it?
All right, so Serwaa, good morning. Good morning from the Upper East region. As we speak now, I am on the Pantang-Abokobi highway. I visited there this morning to see how the security presence has been. And as you can see, the background of the videos we showed to our viewers, this was some few policemen that we saw in some areas, not fully returned. Some areas, the checkpoints had been burned down totally. And then in the town itself here, for Upper East region here, drivers, passengers, everybody is not happy with the current situation. Because if police officers who are well armed have the authority or have the mandate to handle weapons to protect the people, are not crying for fear, what about the citizen who has no right to protect himself in other way? So it has really been a very serious conversation within the town here. In our region here, if you see 2 or 3 people sitting, the conversation or whatever they are discussing about the safety of the place. Like you said earlier on, not once, not twice, so many occasions whereby police officers have been shot dead. And we have not heard anything about the people within the region believe that when it comes to security, police are far ahead to be able to deal with security threats, to bring down, track down criminals. So if the police are now running away, then their life is danger. So that is what's happening.
Right. Thank you very much, Kasim, for that update. Let's speak with security analyst Emmanuel Cote. Mr. Cote, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure that you've been following. You have heard what the Interior Minister is saying. What's your take on it?
Well, thank you for having me. A very good morning to your cherished viewers. In fact, it's a worrying development. And I think that the Interior Minister should rather look at strategies to arrest the situation than be mourning the situation. We were put in offices to fix challenges. And this is one of the challenges our men and women face across this country. And as a result, you get a lot of attrition rates within the service, except that they don't publish the statistics. It's quite alarming. And you see, a conflict zone like Bawku, you can permanently station personnel there. The best practice is that you get a standing force where you rotate them periodically. And don't forget, Serwaa, the police are not alone in this. Other essential service providers are also crying for the same things, like teachers, health workers, and what have you. So as a country, I think it's about time we have a serious conversation about how we treat our men and women in conflict zones, not necessarily in Bawku, because Bawku has protracted for a very long time. There are other conflict zones, they have station officers, and out of fatigue, a lot of them want to leave. And it brings a lot of security implications to the country. Look at the amount of resources we vote in training these personnel, and over a short period, they leave. And I'll use your platform to appeal to the police as a service to come clean with the Ghanaian people so that we understand the attrition rate within the service and what is the cause of such attrition. Then we can, by way of policy, put mechanisms in place to correct that.
Does this, cry by the Interior Minister show that as a state, we are losing control in Bawku?
For Bawku, there's no gainsaying that we have lost control in Bawku. It's one of the ungoverned spaces we have as a country. And that poses a very significant risk to the country, especially in our fight against terrorism. So government must be very intentional. We cannot be contributing troops overseas for peacekeeping, and in our own backyard, we cannot put a standing force to arrest the situation we face in Bawku.
Mr. Coating, how do you suggest we go about it?
Capacity to do same.
Mr. Coating, how do you suggest we become very intentional about it, as you have said? Because the Interior Minister is saying that the police officers who are supposed to protect the citizens want a transfer. If they are not transferred, they will resign. How intentional should we be, or can we be about it?
So you see, situations like this, if you have a standing force where you rotate the personnel periodically, who will be seeking transfer? You put somebody there for 10 years, he or she has been in the conflict zone for more than 10 years. Fatigue will set in. And as a human being, if you call for help, especially psychological help, they don't get it. So when you are pushed to the wall, what do? You see, the traditional system we used to have in our service where service personnel are periodically transferred, those traditions are long gone. If you look at what is happening in the system today, everybody wants to come to the city. You see a police personnel posted to a particular station for over 10 years. It doesn't bring operational innovation to it. It rather stagnates such an officer, and you see how patronage our communities or society is. Then you realize that fighting crimes becomes a problem. That's why in this country, I always say that, look, the Constitution says everybody is equal before the law. But what we see in our part of the country is that the law is meant for certain people and not for others. So until we go back to the basics and look at the police service manual and operationalize it to the letter, I don't think we'll be facing these challenges. It's just that we don't go by what we have set out to do. So that's what I mean by we are not intentional. Because if you look at the police service manual, there is no way a personnel should be at a station for more than 4 years or 5 years. But is it the case as we speak? So moving forward, the Minister of Interior should rather be using his position through Parliament to ask for a standing force where we can use such standing force periodically in areas where we have conflict challenges. Like he mentioned, in other jurisdictions, they always have the reserve forces. But we don't have the resources and capacity to do that. That's why we don't have it. So in the instances, we have to make do with what we have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coating. But I want you to hold on for me. Don't go, because there's something else that I want you to comment on. The Acting Director of the Public Affairs and Internal Relations, Francis Opokwamwa of NACOC, has assured Ghanaians that the cultivation of cannabis for medicinal and industrial purposes will be governed by strict regulations. Speaking on News Tonight yesterday with my colleague, Mr. Amwa reassured Ghanaians that the policy permits only a maximum of 0.3% THC content, strictly restricting the use to industrial and medicinal applications and not recreational use. This update follows a statement issued by NACOC on February 11th, 2026. Francis Amwa urged the public, particularly parents, to support this policy, highlighting its potential to generate significant employment opportunities, especially for the youth. Mr. Coating, you have heard that. Hello, Mr. Coating.
In fact, the challenge with this released by NACOC, very good policy, but it risks suffering institutional capacity and patronage vulnerabilities. One, what is the capacity in terms of personnel for NACO to undertake this exercise? Do they have laboratory testing infrastructure? What surveillance systems do they have to verify compliance? Then you come to the patronage vulnerability, Serwaa. The license allocation opacity. Who determines what? And when you don't put the selection criteria in place, it exposes the whole thing. And you know, this country, everything is about patronage and what have you. Second, the cannabis regulation department that they are talking about, have they set the processes and the structure in place for that? We always jump the guns when we are implementing very good policies. The thing should not be that we want to create employment when we are leaving the gaps and compounding the whole processes. Now, you come to the cross-agency coordination race. You see, without clear MOUs, shared databases, accountability mechanism, security sector, how did these agencies they mentioned, like the Food and Drug Authority, the Standard Board, the Ministry of Interior, how would this coordination happen? Then you come to the security sector implications. You see how our investigative bodies work. Has NACO, by way of regulation, gotten any form of memorandum of understanding with our investigative bodies? No. So you see, Serwaa, this is a very good policy, but implementation has always been a problem for us as a country. And I think that NACO had to go back, do stakeholder engagement, let the people that these things are coming to affect know what they are coming to do, and put all the structures and regulatory frameworks in place. Without this thing being put in place, I'm sorry they are jumping the gun, and this thing is going to be another failed political promise. And it brings to the fore one thing, Serwaa. When we are talking about getting our institutions to be independent of political influences, is because of days like this. NACO should never be under the influence of the political authority, where when there's change of government, we change most of our top hierarchy of the people who man that organization. Same to our investigative bodies. If we really want to put security measures in place to safeguard the sanctity of our democracy. Very good policy, but unfortunately, they have not done their homework.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. Mr. Emmanuel Koting is a security analyst. Well, let's hear what you have to say on this on social media. Mrs. Nanama Akwa is standing by with all the updates. Mrs. Akwa, what do you have?
Thank you, Serwaa. Well, he raises some interesting points there. One of the things that I was also going to any stakeholder engagement.
It will come back to you. We apologize for that. We certainly will bring that back to you. But in the meantime, a routine police checkpoint operation in the Oti region has exposed what officers believe is a major drug trafficking attempt. Suspected smugglers bolted after police intercepted a long trailer truck allegedly loaded with marijuana at the Dambai police barrier.
A routine security check at the Dambai police barrier turned dramatic when officers intercepted a long trailer truck suspected of carrying large quantities of marijuana. The truck, marked Tom Winter and registered GHOne 1943-09, was stopped for screening, and officers became suspicious during questioning of the driver and his assistant. A search revealed parcels of dry leaves believed to be marijuana hidden beneath empty containers inside the truck. The driver abandoned the vehicle and fled, while his associate was arrested and is assisting police with investigations. The truck has been impounded at the Dambai barrier as authorities work to trace the fleeing suspect and determine the origin and destination of the drugs. Police say investigations are ongoing, underscoring their growing vigilance in the fight against drug trafficking and organized crime.
The Ghana Education Service has banned Koforidua Senior High School, High Technical School SECTEC, the new Drubbing Senior High School and the new Insutam Senior High Technical School from all sporting and educational activities for 2 years, effective February 11, 2026. The sanctions follow violent incidents during the 2026 Super Zonal Sports Competition at the Koforidua Sports Stadium. Under the ban, the schools cannot organize, participate in, or attend sports, quizzes, debates, cadets, or entertainment events at school, zonal, or regional levels. Each school has also been fined 500 Ghana cedis and is responsible for any property damage or injuries caused. The Ghana Education Service confirmed serious misconduct, including a stabbing of a SECTEC student who has been treated and discharged, and the alleged rape of a female Osino SHS student who is receiving medical and psychological support. Suspects have been arrested, with one still at large. The Ghana Education Service emphasized that such behavior has no place in schools and that all culprits will face due process. Authorities are ensuring sanctions serve as a deterrent and have urged the public to remain calm as investigations continue. Let's take you back to our earlier story on the legalization of cannabis, even though we're being told now it's for medicinal purposes and not for recreational purposes. And you have been commenting on it on social media. Mrs. Aqua was bringing us that earlier, so we had to go off. Mrs. Aqua, what have they been saying?
Thank you very much, Sarah. When we move over to Facebook, Don says it's a positive move. This will reduce unemployment. We also have Roy. Make them come up for there. How many times have we heard this particular announcement? But still, they might oppress the ghetto youth then because of one role. You also have Richard. This is good news, he says. I just hope they don't overprice the license fee. We also have here, how can one get this license? Any help? I have 200 hectares already. It's a very fertile ground for this plantation. He's already put his generational wealth into this. Then we have Della Rave. Oh God, finally we have arrived. Amen. Now unemployment go reduce. No one gets time for office white collar job again. Okay. We have Raz. All natural organic plant species should be legalized. No government is wiser than the almighty Mother Nature. Kingsley said, expand our psychiatric hospitals too. Forget not, they go, he says, hand in hand. Carl says, wow, this is a great move. I've always advocated for this. The positive side of cannabis in industrial development far outweighs its negatives. Ty says he's getting his license ASAP. We move over to Instagram. Gilbert says the real investment many people have been waiting for. We also have Judicial. The Narcotics Control Commission's decision to commence licensing for medical and industrial cannabis cultivation marks a significant development in the country's approach to cannabis regulation. This move is likely to have various implications, including potential economic benefits and changes in the industry landscape. The Commission's efforts to establish a regulatory framework will be an important aspect to watch as the program unfolds. We also have Elom, Hempire Agric Ghana Limited, headed by Nana Ajamai. Well done. Work has just begun. We also have here Greg. Even without license, our boys are burning everywhere. One can only imagine what is going to happen. God have mercy. Well, let's hope the regulations will work so that what it's intended for will be achieved. My name is Nanama Aqua. Continue to send us your messages on Instagram, Facebook, and on X. Serwaa, back over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Aqua. Let's do some politics now. Former Chief Executive of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, Kofi Ofosu-Nkansah, is expected to report to the National Intelligence Bureau later today following his release. Mr. Nkansah was granted bail in the sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis following his detention by the NIB. His detention was linked to allegations he made that some government officials were selling foreign scholarships for 100,000 cedis or more. He was expected to be arraigned today, but his lawyer, Nane Bafwewa, says the appearance has been cancelled, but will instead report back to the NIB later today. Speaking to Star News, his lawyer, Nane Bafwewa, alluded to unnamed bigwigs who might have wanted to punish his clients for his utterances.
Ridiculous. And for me, the chronology only confirms that it was a powerful hand wanting to teach him a lesson, without a doubt. Because somebody wasn't pleased that he was let go on Thursday upon invitation, and he having put out on social media about having been let go without a charge. And so there was, I mean, you could tell that there was pressure, because if you invite somebody merely because of a statement he made on a TV program, right, and he comes late, and then you ask that he comes back on Monday and he tells you that let me come on Wednesday, right? From the facts, you know, why would the BNI not be able to wait a day more? Why? Clearly, somebody felt uncomfortable politically that Kofi Ofosu, quote unquote, somebody who is always criticizing government, you know, was let go or treated with kids' gloves. That's what it is.
The Western Regional Director of Communications for the NPP, Isaf Hussaini, has criticized the NIB over the detention and subsequent bail of former NEIP boss Kofi Ofosu-Nkansah. Speaking on GH Today with me earlier, he described the Bureau's actions as excessive and arguing that Mr. Nkansah should have first been invited for questioning over his claims rather than being detained.
I don't think we should be. We have gone too far. From 1992 till date, we've been practicing democracy, and I believe that democracy is what can unveil whatever is covered under the ground. And I still believe that what the institution did, they went extreme. They should have invited him, get information from him. Where did you get the information from? Then the person can now tell you his source of information. Based on the source of information, you can investigate and dig deeper to fight corruption. That is how we strengthen our institutions. That is how we fight corruption. But you don't invite the person, punish the person for publishing that particular information. And I don't think it's something that we should be encouraging. If that is the case, so should one day NPP comes to power and my brother sitting here happens to make allegations on radio station, we should pick him up and go and lock him up because he's making allegation that somebody has maybe engaged in some corrupt practices. I don't think we should be going in that manner. I strongly condemn, and the party also strongly condemn that particular move by NIB.
Stay with me. After the break, there's more. The president of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, Samuel Afotuotu, has welcomed the Chief Justice's initiative to introduce a specialized court division, saying the staff are ready for it. The CJ, Justice Paul Bafuboni, as part of the initiative, has directed the extension of working hours at the High Courts from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for special court sessions dedicated to addressing backlogs in specific criminal and civil cases. These dedicated courts will focus on specific cases such as cybercrime, galamsey, known as illegal mining, human trafficking, and cross-border crimes. Speaking to EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent, Mutalai Nusa, on the readiness of the staff, the president of JUSAG, Samuel Afotuotu, said the staff are ready and urged them to remain punctual to their duty post.
A good initiative, good move. Even though I am representing the staff, I must say that we are all Ghanaians, and we all want the good of Ghana. So, looking at the backlog of cases, some courts having 1,000 cases, and so forth. A day, the judges and the staff, they get tired. So, with this initiative, I think we support it. We want it to go on and then dispose of the cases on time. It's morning 8:30 to 1. And then another court will also start from 1 to 6:30. So we are going to run shift. We have different set of staff who will be doing the work in the afternoon and a different set of staff in the morning. We need more staff. But with this particular system, it's not all courts in Ghana anyway. It's just a selected courts. And management have put in place the resources together, and all those courts have the requisite number of staff that will do the work. Every staff is aware that there is going to be morning and afternoon service, and this is not going to be something different. It's just going to be the same work we are doing. We are now starting a program, and I haven't had any complaint from anybody. And management, they know everything. They know all this, so they have put in place how to handle this situation. I think I advise every staff to be punctual, to be at work, be at post, and do what is expected of them. The time that they have communicated to us now is 8 to 1, and then 1 to 6:30. So those who are for morning should be at post on time and then close at a set time. And then those who are to take over in the afternoon should also prepare to do the same thing.
A new nationwide poll has revealed widespread socioeconomic concerns despite government enjoying high ratings. The polls, conducted by the Institute of Economic Affairs and involving more than 1,000 respondents across the regions of Ghana, found that 68% of Ghanaians approve of President Mahama's performance so far. Only 22% of respondents disapprove, while 10% expressed no opinion. But despite the high approval rating, the poll highlights serious economic concerns among citizens. 7 out of 10 Ghanaians, that's 71%, say they are strongly concerned about the rising cost of food and other consumer goods. Overall, 91% of respondents indicated that at least at some level concern about rising prices, pointing to the growing financial pressure on households across the country. Now, every morning and evening, the Pantang-Abokobi road tells a familiar story. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, ambulances struggling to pass, residents inching their way through dust and potholes. But as construction finally begins on this long-neglected stretch, a bigger question is being asked. Is fixing the road enough, or is it time to think bigger? From lawmakers to contractors and health professionals, stakeholders are now appealing directly to President Mahama to transform the Pantang-Abokobi road into a dual carriageway, arguing that the future of this strategic enclave depends on it.
For decades, the Pantang-Abokobi road has been more than just a transport route. It has been a daily struggle for commuters, residents and patients seeking care. Today, hope is taking shape on the ground. The Member of Parliament for Madina, Francis Xavier Susu, has been on site to inspect the commencement of construction works following clearance by President John Dramani Mahama through the Ministry of Roads. This route is no ordinary stretch. It serves Pantang Hospital, the incoming headquarters of the Ghana Health Service, the Mental Health Authority, Nurses Training College, and thousands of residents whose number continue to grow.
You look at the traffic that flows on this stretch, and you look at the major installations and the major institutions that are on this stretch. I'm taking the opportunity to invite the road minister to site so they can also come and look at the nature of the road.
While welcoming the start of rehabilitation works, Francis Xavier Susu is making a strong case for something more enduring, a dual carriageway.
I would use the opportunity to appeal to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the road minister that looking at how this road is, there's an opportunity for us to dualize this road. And that can be one of the biggest legacies to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the road minister as well.
Managing Director for Aweko Construction, a contractor executing the project, Joseph Adams, says work has already begun with the reconstruction and expansion of worn-out culverts. He explains that the project spans 8.6 kilometers from the Pantang traffic light to Abokobi, including internal roads within Pantang Hospital. Joseph Adams confirms that although the current contract is for rehabilitation, his team is preparing for that possibility, dualizing the road.
The contract says 24 months, but we will try our best to finish before 24 months. Here, there's no detour for us to divert the road. That is the only difficulty we have, but we'll manage. And we are prepared to work day and night when the traffic is less.
Director of Pantang Hospital, Dr. Yunisom Maluk, believes dualizing and asphalt overlaying will significantly improve access, reduce delays, and support the hospital's ongoing transformation.
Because of the sheer amount of traffic there, even as we still plead with His Excellency, the President, for redesign and remodernization of the Pantang Hospital to serve as a legacy for the generations to come.
For residents, health workers, and commuters alike, the start of construction is welcome, but the call is growing louder for a road that matches the importance of a place it serves. Whether the Pantang-Abokobi road becomes merely repaired or fully transformed now rests with policymakers. Peter Kwao Adatos report for GHOne News.
Let's now bring you the latest in the world of business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Reducing youth unemployment through skills development remains a major focus of the government's job creation agenda. In the Savannah region, the commitment is being translated into action with the deployment of thousands of training tools under the National Apprenticeship Program. The initiative is designed to equip young people with practical, employable skills, reduce unemployment, and promote self-employment across the country.
Following the training of the 145 mastercraft persons in various vocational and technical fields, the Savannah Regional Minister Salisu Biaube, alongside the regional coordinator, presented over 5,000 training kits to the 7 municipal and district assemblies to officially launch the apprenticeship program.
They are meant for a purpose of training, not exhibition. We will not also hesitate to come for the equipment from a mastercraft person who, upon acquiring these set of equipment, decides to stop training the trainees or to drive away the trainees. And if such a person is also relocating to another part outside the Savannah region, we shall not also hesitate to ensure that they are retained in the district and given to other mastercraft persons who are willing to absorb the children and to train them.
Minister Biawube urged apprentices and trainers to leverage social media to market their products and services, while reminding beneficiaries to use the equipment responsibly and strictly for its intended purpose.
Our maintenance culture must be sharpened, and to ensure that we maintain them appropriately and not to see them as having been doled out by government, and for that matter, you can always request for more. We are the first batch of lucky people. Others are still waiting, and therefore make maximum use of these equipment and train our brothers and sisters to the best of your ability.
The distributed items include hair dryers, industrial sewing machines, spirited levels, hammers, safety boots, and other essential tools needed for practical hands-on training.
I will follow up to every district to ensure these tools are being kept to use. These are to be used to train our apprentices. They are not for our personal use. The machines are to stay in the shops. When you train the 5 beneficiaries in your shop and they are being passed out, we are going to give them new equipment to go and set up on their own.
The Savannah Regional Coordinator of the National Apprenticeship Program, Bawa Mubarak, described the initiative as fulfilling a 2024 campaign promise to tackle unemployment by training both the minds and hands of young people.
The government, in its effort to get the unemployed youth employed, the National Apprenticeship Program has come to train the unemployed and unskilled youth to become skillful in various disciplines.
The National Apprenticeship Program is set to play a key role in reducing unemployment, boosting productivity, and improving livelihoods across the Savannah region.
Ensuring value for public investment and accelerating development remain key priorities for the government. The Member of Parliament for Bole-Bamboi in the Savannah region and Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Yusuf Suleimana, has taken a hands-on approach inspecting critical road and housing projects to ensure quality delivery, accountability, and timely completion.
The first stop of the Member of Parliament for Bole-Bamboi, Yusuf Suleimana, and his entourage was ongoing road construction works in Bole. The MP acknowledged years of neglect but assured residents that the current administration is committed to rehabilitating and constructing key roads across the district. The road projects include the Wenchuwa Road, Bole Township Roads, and the Chachi-Bole Road. The MP assured residents that contractors will be closely monitored, warning that any contractor who fails to meet quality and timeline expectations will be held accountable.
I will make sure that the contract is abrogated and a different person is given the contract to do the work for us. And so the Boleura, the chiefs and the elders and everybody in this community is willing to support him deliver this project.
The MP later inspected the affordable housing project site where he assessed progress on the government's housing intervention in the district. The project, implemented by the Ministry of Works and Housing through the Office of the President and the Ghana Housing Home Ownership Fund, aims to address the housing deficit and improve infrastructure, particularly for public sector workers. A contract has been awarded to Bilkis Limited, with the project set to be executed in 3 phases. Phase 1 consists of 22-bedroom fully detached houses, complete with internal facilities and basic amenities. Phase 2 and 3 will include additional housing units and high-rise buildings.
And it is also their responsibility to create the internal infrastructure such as roads and other facilities or amenities within this community.
The project is expected to create employment opportunities for local workers while providing decent, affordable accommodation for residents and government employees. The completed houses will be sold or rented, with proceeds used to revolve the housing fund for future developments. The Deputy Minister reaffirmed his commitment to ensuring that no development project in the district is stalled and encouraged residents to continue supporting government initiatives aimed at improving infrastructure and living conditions in the Bole district.
The Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, has announced that the Finance Minister, Dr. Kaisala Tufor-Singh, will address the nation today on cabinet-approved interventions aimed at resolving persistent challenges in the cocoa industry, including delayed payments to cocoa farmers and mounting financial pressures at Cocoa Board.
At the end of the emergency session, decisive measures have been agreed upon regarding expedited payments of cocoa farmers, regarding the implementation of the most drastic reforms in the cocoa sector, with a view to achieving quantum leaps in domestic processing of cocoa as opposed to exports of raw materials, and various reforms to be carried out at Cocoa Board in order to ensure more effective administration and management of the cocoa sector. The finance minister will address the people of Ghana and announce these far-reaching measures as agreed upon at the end of the cabinet meeting today.
Meanwhile, the concerned Cocoa Farmers Association say all they want is the payment of the outstanding monies and nothing more. They explain that the attempts to secure a meeting with President John Dramani Mahama to discuss challenges facing the cocoa sector have so far proven unsuccessful. Let's engage the president of the concerned Cocoa Farmers Association, Nana Obuade-Boate, via phone. Nana, thank you very much for your time. You say that you have been trying to get the president to sit with him. But the president yesterday convened an urgent cabinet meeting to address the same things that you want to talk to him about. And the finance minister is set to address us today and give us the way forward. Doesn't that tell you that the president has actually heard you and is working on it or has worked on it? Hello, Nana.
Yeah, hello.
Nana, did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard a little bit of it, like the president having a meeting, and we also want to have a meeting with him.
Yes, and I'm saying that despite the fact that you haven't heard from the president, at least this tells you that the president is working on the concerns of cocoa farmers. Isn't that good enough for you?
No. It's not all that good enough. But what we appreciate is he tried his best to meet cabinet, and then now Honorable Atu Forson is the one that we are waiting for now. And then we have a belief that he's coming out with a very good response, which at the end of the day, the farmers that they are crying for their money will receive it. But
absolutely.
The president.
So, Nana, I'm asking that you were not able to meet the president, but the president has heard you. He has convened a meeting, and now the finance minister will be speaking. As you wait for the finance minister, are you okay now that the president, even though didn't meet you, has heard you and is working on it?
Yeah, well, it is two issues, talking about, we are not meeting the president because of the unpaid money. We are meeting the president on a different angle altogether, because now it is debt that is there. Tomorrow, it will be the trees. The trees that we are working on to have the beans is highly in danger. They are cutting it out. They have given a whole community for, for real estate. When you go to Konongo, the same thing. When you come to Ona in the Ashanti region, the chief of Ona has put in pillars within the various cocoa farms, which they are going to destroy all. And Cocoa Board, we've given a signal to Cocoa Board, which the legal team are working on it. But yes, still, there are other punches and other areas which, if care is not taken, our cocoa will go. So this is an engagement that we want to meet the president. And then there's another issue which I can't disclose it, but then when we meet the president, I think it will be pleasant, because 2016, there was an information that we gave him. But at the end of the day, things do not go on well. But this time around, I think that with the report that we gave in the 2016, it's a reflect of what is going to happen this very season. So it is good for him to give our attention. And it is good for Felix Ofosu-Kwakye to prompt the president, because we've sent a message to Felix Ofosu-Kwakye to tell the president that the farmer groups want to meet him. And it is an urgent meeting, which we are calling for. As for the money, we know that they are going to pay.
So, Nana, if you haven't been able to meet the president, are you saying that aside the president, there's nobody else that you can talk to about these concerns and issues that you have?
No, we've met with Honorable Randiabi. It was nice to explain a lot of things for us. It's also even give us an insight of what has been happening and other things. But then, what we are talking about now, it is only the president that have the mandate to do it. That is why we are calling on the president to meet.
Okay.
That is why because if there's a fuel price, if there's a fuel issues and other things, the president needs the GPR to you. Why is it that find it very difficult to meet our own brother John Dramani Mahama? Why is it that the people around the president are preventing with the farmers to meet the president? We don't understand this. And this is an issue, and it's a national security issue which the president have to know.
Okay, Nana, now you say that you know that as for the money, they will be paid. But beyond this, what other reforms do you want to see in the cocoa sector? Or is that what you want to discuss with the president?
Oh, no, not at all. Randy Abbey also have his own agenda, have his own vision and other things that he wants to reform and then make the cocoa industry better. Listening to him and then the kind of message that he gave us and then the kind of interaction that we had with him, we believe that he can deliver and he can do something good. But then what we are expecting is we don't have to be doing this to ourselves. We don't have to be, at the end of the day, we'll be hearing that Cocoa Board, there's a debt that is there. Cocoa Board, there's unpaid money, there's this and that, you know. So going forward, I think that the structure that they want to put and then the resetting that the president is resetting have to pass through all this kind of angle so that at the end of the day, things will be better. And then farmers' engagement with decision-making is very important and very vital, which we think that they should involve most of us so that at the end of the day, we can also bring our ideas and things that can also help to boost the cocoa industry and at the same time make Cocoa Board very great an institution.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. Nana Obuade Boateng is the president of the Concerned Cocoa Farmers Association, and they say that they want to see the president. They don't understand why some people are preventing them from seeing the president. That's it for business. Let's bring you the latest in sports.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Many thanks for joining me here on Sports. Ghana's Black Princesses have arrived in Johannesburg with their full squad of 20 players, accompanied by the technical team as they prepare for the second leg of their FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifier against South Africa. The first leg, played last Sunday in Accra, ended 2-2 draw, leaving the tie finally poised ahead of Saturday's decisive match. With determination running high and preparations underway, the Black Princesses are set to face South Africa this Saturday with the aim of delivering a strong performance that could see them take the next step toward the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland. And on the international front, Manchester City continue to maintain their pressure on Arsenal in the Premier League top flight after a 3-0 victory over Fulham at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester on Thursday night. City's 3 goals were scored by Ghana's international Antoine Semenyo in the 24th minute, Nico Riley in the 30th minute, and Erling Haaland in the 39th minute. This victory moved City up to 53 points in second place, 3 points behind Arsenal at the top of the Premier League table. Fulham, on the other hand, dropped to 12th place with 34 points, still 10 points above the relegation zone. Here's Pep Guardiola reacting after their win.
Yeah, it was not easy after incredible emotions in a game. You have experience when you play a emotional game like Liverpool or Champions League. The next one obviously is tricky, and against that team, like if we allow them to play, they are top. And but the first half was the best in terms of compactness and be together, transitions, and it was a really good performance. So happy for the guys. I think today they showed themselves that we are able to do good things.
Meanwhile, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has expressed sympathy for Thomas Frank. The Danish coach was sacked by Tottenham Hotspur on Wednesday, describing him as excellent coach and extraordinary man. Frank was dispersed by Spurs after a woeful run of results left North London club hovering 5 points above relegation zone in 16th position, with the Danish coach unable to replicate his success at Brentford.
The very sad news when you have
next.
Now, if you've ever fallen in love, chances are that you must have been inspired by a love song. From the soft strum of high-life guitars to smooth Afro-pop melodies and heartfelt hip-life verses, our artists have always known how to capture the language of love. These were not just songs, they were soundtracks to first crushes, secret admirers, long-distance relationships, wedding dances, and those late-night phone calls that lasted till dawn, even morning. Now, in the spirit of Valentine, let's take it back to the tracks that made us believe in love, the classics that had us in our feelings, the anthems that defined an era, and the love bangers that still hits the same way years later.
Love has always been a powerful theme in Ghanaian music, expressed through melody, poetry, rhythm, and soul. Over the years, several remarkable artists have shaped and defined the sound of love songs, using high life and contemporary influences to tell stories of passion, heartbreak, devotion, and longing.
The international front now. At least 31 people back Madagascar, says the disaster authority in the Indian Ocean island. Cyclone Gazani made landfall on Tuesday, hitting the island's main port. Madagascar's disaster management office said there was total chaos, reporting that houses collapsed in the impact zone where the bodies were found. And that's it for the news. On behalf of the entire team led by Mrs. Aliseni, thank you very much for your time. The news team will be back at 6:30 with News Tonight. I'm Serwaa Amihere. Have a good afternoon.